Hello, Science Alliance. I'm Lara. This is Theatre of Science. I am actually trained to teach physics up to A-level. I've got a first-class science degree and a first-class drama degree. I'm a trained, qualified teacher. I do stream free live lessons for home educators, but this isn't one of the lessons. It doesn't have any free printouts. This is the Lego Storytime Show, where we chat about a thing and we do an activity and we tell a story with Lego at the end. And today we're learning about mountains. So I've come dressed as like a snow-capped mountain. I'm not sure what's happening. It looks a little bit medicinal, doesn't it? There's something not quite worked today with the costume. Anyway, it's all very scientifically accurate, as you will find out. So, mountains. Oh, where do we start? Right, the first thing I want you to do, because there's sort of two activities in one today, a bit, is if you've got a blob of blue tack with you, please can you make a little blue tack boat that will float on water. I said to bring a glass of warm water, which we'll need for the activity that we do in a sec. Yesterday I tried to balance my blue tack boat on that water and it didn't work because it was like I had to keep reaching in and I kept knocking it. So you might want to get another bowl of water, it's up to you. But can you just make a little blue tack boat? It depends how crafty you're feeling. You could just do a circle of blue tack with a blob in it, or you could try harder. It's entirely up to you. So while you're doing that, I will tell you a little bit about the Earth, yeah? Because mountains are on the Earth and we need to learn about what's happening under the Earth to know about mountains. So, there is Earth. Earth is not just a ball of rock, it's got other stuff going on. It's got a core, which we don't really need to talk about today. It's got like an outer core we don't need to talk about either. Above that is this thing called the mantle. And the mantle it's kind of liquidy rock. So it's rock that is sort of liquid and it's moving around. And on top of the mantle, you'll have Earth's crust. Now, for a really long time, people thought that Earth's crust was basically like an eggshell, just this lovely solid coating on top of the Earth. But it's actually not like that at all. It's broken up into little bits. You could sort of think of it as being like absolutely massive paving slabs all moving around each other, and they're called tectonic plates. They're called plates, these massive paving slabs. Here is a diagram of where they are. You can see how massive they are. Here we go, look at this. So this is literally like breaks in Earth's crust. So we've got different plates that we've named different things. There's a little Caribbean plate, there's the Nazca plate, there's the South America plate, the Scotia plate, all these different plates that are all very slowly and gradually moving around and bashing in together in all different ways. And basically that's how mountains formed, when these plates interact with each other. Okay, have you got a little blue tack boat? Should we see if this works? It took me a few goes actually on Facebook yesterday. Let's see. Oh, bums. That would have been such a perfect segue into the next bit I'm talking about. Maybe it just needs to be curved up a bit more. That's probably good. I mean, this is why I do it with you, right? Because now I know that maybe you need more time as well. Have you got yours floating yet? Let's go up a bit. Try again. No, it's too thick. Okay, well, in a way that's not bad. I'm gonna try again and explain to you what I thought about the crust and the mantle and why I was wrong. I think I've used too much blue tack. I'm going to use a much thinner bit of blue tack and spread it out again. So, yeah, the crust is essentially floating on top of the mantle, right? The tectonic plates, the broken up bits of crust are floating on top of the mantle. Now, stuff that is, when we say density, what we really mean is like how close together the particles are in a thing. So stuff that's really dense, the particles are really close together. Stuff that isn't very dense, the particles are far apart. Now, I knew that things that were solid were more dense than the same thing that was liquid. Like if you get liquid iron and solid iron, the solid iron is going to be denser. The only thing that this doesn't work with, it's so annoying, is water. Let's just forget about water for now, okay? I know when water goes solid, it turns into ice, and ice floats in water, but water's really, really weird and unusual for that. nearly all of the substances on the whole in the universe, the solid thing is more dense than the liquid thing. So if you put a solid chunk of iron into liquid iron, the solid chunk will sink. If you get liquid aluminium and you put a chunk of aluminium in it, it's going to sink, right? Because the solid is denser and the liquid is less dense. So the denser thing sinks. Right. This is my final chance to prove myself to you. I've made another little blue tack boat. Come on, friends. I can do it. I can do it. This isn't even supposed to be the main part of the activity. Phew! Okay. So, right. What have we learned? Blue tack sinks in water, right? If I get a blob of blue tack and I put it into water, you can probably just sort of tell me by looking that blue tack is denser than water. The particles in blue tack are closer together. It's a denser thing. So when I put it in water, it sinks, right? We've seen that a couple of times. So why is my blue tack boat floating on the water? Why does like a 5 gram blob of blue tack sink, but a 5 gram little boat-shaped piece of blue tack float? Well, the answer is that, where can I do it? Can I do it up here? I'll draw you a little diagram. You might want to think about it while I'm drawing the diagram. It's quite complicated, this. Sort of GCSE, if not like A-level physics. I'll draw the boat in brown and the water in blue. If you put a blob of blue tack in to water, it is more dense, so it sinks. If you put a boat-shaped piece of blue tack in, well, in a way, like, the boat isn't just blue tack, right? Inside the boat is air, because you've made it into a cup shape. So now the kind of whole boat thing is blue tack, but it's also air. And air particles are really far apart. They're not very dense at all. So the air particles plus the blue tack, like overall, it's less dense than the water, so it floats. Now, I think I probably have, I definitely learned this in my degree and I think I'd forgotten it. But if you'd asked me, why is the crust floating on top of the mantle? I think I would have said that it was in the same way that a boat of blue tack floats on water. That it was something to do with that maybe there was like air trapped. It's not like the crust is a boat shape. I don't know. Anyway, that's not what's happening with the crust. I didn't know this. Well, I probably did, like I say, but I've forgotten. If you've brought some oil with you and a glass of warm water, can you pour the oil on top of the warm water? Probably no one is going to be surprised at what happens next. The oil floats. Oil floats on water. Why does oil float on water? Because oil is made of different stuff. Oil is made of oil and water is made of water. They're just different materials. And water is more dense, so it sinks to the bottom. And oil is more dense, so it floats to the top. It's the same with the mantle and with the crust. They're made of different materials, guys. The mantle is made of much denser material, and the crust is made of lighter material, like less dense material. So that's why the crust floats on top of the mantle. Right, phew. So we need to move on to how mountains form, don't we? Because I said that these bits of crust behave in different ways. Have you ever looked at a map of the world and thought, wow, it really looks like South America could just nestle in nicely to the side of Africa? You see these two continents here? They're just, it really looks sort of like a jigsaw puzzle, doesn't it? And many of you will know that that is because South America and Africa did used to be kind of nestled in together, because the tectonic plates that the crust is made of are constantly moving around. And the tectonic plates in between these continents, they are moving away from each other. And it's called seafloor spreading. What's happening is, popping you around a lot today, the two oceanic plates, the tectonic plates that are under the ocean, they are gradually moving apart, and stuff from the mantle, like liquid, well, lava, it's coming out into the gap and filling in the gap. So it's true, like New York and London are getting, I think it's like 2 centimetres further apart every year, because the two plates that are underneath the sea come apart, bit of lava comes in and fills the gap, and then that just keeps happening and keeps happening. Which does a couple of things. It makes the ocean floor spread and pushes the continents away from each other. And it also forms these mountains. You see in this diagram where the gap is and lava's come out, you get these mountains. That's what LEGO Story Show is about, so I can't say too much more about that, or I'll do massive spoilers. There you go. It's cool, isn't it? Right. There's a few other ways that tectonic plates can react with each other. Well, not react, but like interact with each other. Here's one called subduction. The language is French, but it really doesn't matter. It was a great picture. So here we've got a bit of the oceanic crust, a bit of tectonic plate which is under the ocean, scraping against a bit of, you could call it continental crust or land crust. Should we just call them two different plates? There are oceanic plates, which are under the ocean, and there are continental plates, we'll call them like land plates just for ease, which are on the land. And when they meet, the oceanic plate is made of denser stuff than the continental plate. I'd forgotten this as well, that even the different like paving slabs, the tectonic plates around Earth, are made out of different things. So the oceanic plates are much younger because they're just getting made, right? So when they meet a land plate, they go under and the land plate goes over, and you get this kind of scraping happening, and that forms mountains as well, because like all the scrapings end up going up to the surface. Here you go. Yeah, so this is called subducting, when one plate goes under another one, and it's how the Alps were formed. Yeah, I know. Here we go. Sorry, not the Alps, the Andes. Here are the beautiful Andes Mountains, and the Andes Mountains are in South America. Where do you reckon they are in South America? Guys, where do you reckon they are? Where do you reckon the Andes are in South America? There's the Andes. Here's the mountains that form when an oceanic plate goes underneath a land plate. Where are the Andes? They're here. Oh, gasp. Look, where the plates are connected. Not a coincidence. Oh, amazing. Science is real. Here's one showing that all these different things happening. So the other way that, I'll tell you what, shall we put some food colouring into some oil? I think we should do that. So if you should have a little bit of oil left. Sorry. What we're supposed to do now is, I thought, if we're going to be putting oil on top of water, we'd better do the like indoor fireworks in a jar activity. So you've got to get some food colouring, mix it with a little bit of oil, and then you pour it in and you should see fireworks. Sorry, I've just poured all my oil in because I forgot. Should I pour it back again? I reckon I can just pour some back, it'll be fine. Nailed it. Right, I'm going to mix some food colouring up with my oil now while I'm chatting to you, so you can do the same thing if you want to join in with me. Okay, so what have we talked about? We've talked about how the ocean plates move apart from each other and get filled in, and that makes new sea floor, and so you get a mountain ridge down there where the lava comes out. We've talked about how the ocean plate goes under the land plate, the continental crust, and that the scrapings form mountains like the Andes. The other way that mountains are formed, like the way that the really famous Himalayas are formed, with the tallest mountain, Mount Everest, in them, is if you get two continental crusts that come together. You can do it with your hands. They meet and they're both not very dense. They both want to float, so they just meet and they go like that. And the land literally just gets pushed into the sky, and that forms mountains as well. And that is what formed the Himalayas. Cue a beautiful picture of the Himalayas. This was taken from the International Space Station. This is the Himalayas as looked at from a spaceship, basically, which is orbiting Earth all the time. So there right now, it's got astronauts on it, amazing. The Himalayas, they formed when two continental crusts just mashed up into each other. But one of those crusts had ocean on it and contained a load of like ammonite fossils, because it had had sea creatures in it, and then they died and gone into the land, and then the land went. So you can find ammonites. They've found ammonites on Mount Everest, because the land that is on Mount Everest used to be on the ocean. Oh, it's such a weird, amazing world, isn't it? Right, I have mixed up some food colouring with my oil, and I'm going to pour it on top of this water, slightly oil mixture, and we should see some fireworks. Shall I? I'm just going to give you like a couple more minutes to get that done. I've got more chatting. I could do this all day. Okay, yeah, let's talk about roots, because the whole reason that we're doing this lesson this show is because, was it Henry? Henry, are you here right now? I think it was Henry. Last week we talked about the Sphinx. We were learning about how Greek sphinxes used to tell riddles. So Henry said they were a massive fan of The Hobbit, and they gave us this riddle from The Hobbit, which really annoyed me. Who has roots as nobody sees, is taller than trees, up, up it goes, and yet never grows? And the answer was a mountain. And I was like, ugh, excuse me, what? I mean, yeah, mountains are taller than trees, so they go up. They never grow? I mean, I suppose they don't, because once they are in existence, they just get weathered down by like the wind and the rain, so mountains shrink. But mountains don't have roots. I was like, that's a silly riddle. I don't like it. Mountains don't have roots. And then I looked it up and found out, yeah, they do, actually. They do. Mountains have roots. So when these things are colliding and the mountains are forming, what is happening is this. When land gets scrunched up, so here's the crust, here's the mantle down here, the liquidy rocky bit, here's the crust, you get the mountain like that, which is the bit that we see, which we live on, great, but underneath you also get something like this. They've got roots. That's just what happens when these mountains form and get surged up. They end up getting surged down again as well. And yeah, we used to think that the mantle was kind of constantly churning, and that's what made the tectonic plates move. Now we think it's actually the other way around, that actually it's the tectonic plates that are moving, and that's causing the mantle to move. Like the things where scientists are saying, oh, we think what might have happened sometimes is that a bit of the mountain's root breaks off. So that makes the mountain less heavy, so it floats more, sort of like an ice cube, like bobbing up further. So yeah, that a mountain can grow, actually, and yet never grows. It's quite a good riddle, as it turns out. So yeah, mountains do have roots that nobody sees. Literally nobody can see them. Scientists can't see them with their eyes because they're right under the crust, but they can sort of detect them. I think we're in quite an early stage of working out how mountain roots work. But yeah, bits can break off and the mountain can grow, actually. Gollum from The Hobbit. Right, let's... I'm going to show you just something that because we talked about mountains when we talked about roller coasters, actually. I did a whole module of lessons about the science of theme parks, so I'm just going to show you that bit again because it was too good to not show you. But let's do the indoor firework activity, fireworks in a jar, and see if it works. I'm laughing because I'm really not convinced it's going to work. Here we go. So give that a good swirl. Put the food colouring in. Okay, so what? Oh, kinda. So what's happening is, oh wow, actually that's a really good model for a mountain, isn't it? That bubble looked just like a mountain. All right, that's quite fun. So the oil, you've mixed the oil with the food colouring. The food colouring gets trapped in the oil, so it floats on the water. And then eventually the food colouring is actually more... Oh, okay, that's super fun. The food colouring's more dense than the water, so it sinks. And as it does, it kind of bursts open and you get this cool little firework effect. All right, that is actually really cool. I'm not sure they look like fireworks. They kind of look like comets whizzing down to Earth trying to destroy humanity, but I'll take it. It's nice. Oh, yeah. That's very relaxing, actually, isn't it? Okay, so food colouring, more dense, oil, less dense. We've done the density thing, haven't we? God, so nice. I suppose we better stop watching this. I better teach you something. Oh, it's like a lava lamp, but not using any electricity. Oh, so cute. Okay, right, it's going to take a while, isn't it? So we'd better go. Okay, what I wanted to show you is, we did, people who came to my theme parks lesson knew I've seen this before, but it'll be fun to remember it, right? We were looking at we did the very last lesson on how theme parks advertise. And we were looking at how there's a roller coaster called the Big One at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. And to advertise the Big One, how big the roller coaster at Blackpool Pleasure Beach is, Blackpool Pleasure Beach are always saying that if you go on the roller coaster, the big one, you will experience a drop from 235 feet. Do you remember this? This is so good. Experience a drop from 235 feet is what they keep shouting. Now, this is a bit of a mystery because actually if you measure the big one roller coaster, you will find it's only 213 feet. And they're saying experience a drop from 235 feet. So there's like 22 feet that needs adding on. Where is the extra 22 feet? What has happened? And we said in our lesson, well, Mount Everest, right, is said to be the tallest mountain on Earth because it's 8,849 metres tall. But how do we measure it? Where do we measure it from? From where to where? Is it from the top of the mountain to like the bottom of this picture? Obviously not. No. Is it from much further away? No, because you're still measuring it from a mountain to a mountain. This part of the world is very mountainous, so we're still very high up here. Oh, so beautiful, isn't it? So what we do is when we talk about heights of things on Earth, we talk about their height above sea level. So the height of Mount Everest is 8,849 metres above the sea, right? Because the sea is made of water, that's how water works, it's sort of flat, so it's a nice easy one. So what Blackpool Pleasure Beach are doing is, that's so good, they're measuring the height of the roller coaster from above sea level. Amazing. So you do experience a drop from 235 feet above sea level. You don't experience a drop of 235 feet because you don't go down to sea level. Isn't that brilliant? Just such a beautiful combination of marketing nonsense and maths and physics and geography. Anyway, so a lot of you will know, because this is quite a well-known, like not well-known fact, is that Mount Everest isn't actually the highest mountain on Earth. So Earth isn't perfectly round. Earth is actually an oblate spheroid. It's not a sphere. So Everest is the highest mountain above sea level, but it's not actually the mountain that is furthest from the centre of the Earth. There's another mountain which is on the bulgy bit, so it's further away from the centre of Earth. And it's Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador. Whoa, look at that! So the top of Mount, is it Chimborazo? I'm so sorry, I didn't look it up. Or Chimborazo in Ecuador. That point there, if you stand there, that's the furthest anyone can ever be from the centre of Earth and still be on planet Earth. So good. And the tallest mountain is actually Mauna Kea in Hawaii, because it goes further down than the sea. That's sea level, and then it goes way down under the sea. So yeah, there's many different ways of measuring. So I looked up just before we go to the Lego story. I was like, all right, we've got like the tallest mountains. What are the most dangerous mountains? So I looked at what are the most dangerous mountains on Earth, and I found this Reddit chat. Reddit's like a place where people go to talk about things that they're interested in. So someone in this Reddit chat had said, what do you think is the most dangerous mountain to climb? And mountain climbers were given their opinions. So I looked up some of the things that they said, and it was really interesting. I am so embarrassed that I don't know how to pronounce this. This is almost certainly the highest mountain in Myanmar. The reason we can't be 100% sure it's the highest mountain in Myanmar, we're not totally sure how tall it is, because only one person has ever climbed it and survived. Only one person. Here we go. I'm going to call it Kakabo Razi. I'm assuming that the H is silent, but yeah. A Japanese mountain climber called Takashi Ozaki is the only person to have climbed up Kakabo Razi in Myanmar and survived it. And he didn't take with him the fancy pants technological equipment that we sort of use now to measure very precisely and formally how tall a mountain is. A team from National Geographic tried to go up and measure how tall it was, but you can see well from this picture actually. When you think of mountain climbing, if you, like me, and you don't know anything about it, you just imagine standing at the bottom of a mountain and climbing it. But to get to Kakabo Razi, if that's how you pronounce it, you've got to spend about 30 days walking through jungle. 30 days! I mean, imagine if I said to you, we're going on a 30-day trek through incredibly dense, dangerous, like full of things that might hurt you, jungle. You'd pack a lot of stuff, right? You wouldn't, like, how do you pack for that? But then you get to the bottom of this ridiculously tall, like probably 4,200 meter high mountain, and then you've got to start. It's very difficult. So a team quite recently tried to do it. A team of, I can't remember where they were from. Quite a small group of mountaineers tried to do it fairly recently and were just never heard of again, which is very sad. Like literally, you can't even, I tried to Google it and it was just like they set off. There were some news stories about them going missing. Helicopter tried to find them. Helicopter ended up crashing. That was all very tragic as well. And then the people, you just like never hear from them again. Takashi Hazaki, like I say, he's the only person, the National Geographic people in the end, they had to turn around and they only just made it back through the jungle with enough food for them to survive. And the Japanese man who managed to get to the top and back down again, and is the only person to survive, he died climbing Mount Everest like the next year. Okay, so another place that they were saying is really difficult is Mont Blanc, which is on like the border of Italy and France. There's this really famous, if you like mountain climbing, really dangerous bit on Mont Blanc, which is called the Grand Couloir. I'm going to say that's how you say it. So here's the small picture. This is the big picture. The small picture is showing us where the Grand Couloir is. It's basically a sort of gap made by running water a long time ago. So it's like there. There are other ways of going to Mont Blanc, going up it. Apparently this bit's really dangerous because there's lots of ice keeping the rocks all kind of locked in place. But when the sun comes up, the ice melts and the rocks fall. So loads of people have been killed because it's just like a horrible computer game from the 90s where you've got to cross this passage where rocks just keep falling. Some people were like, oh, it's no big deal, you know, I did it at like 7 a.m. before the sun had come up and it was totally fine and there weren't any rocks. And some people were like, yeah, you've got to go when it's quiet because people who don't know what they're doing sort of wander across and then like stop to see where they are, and you're like, guy, just get past, you've got to run as fast as you can so you don't get hit with all these rocks. Oh my goodness, I just had a terrible... One of my little men just fell out of my hat. I'm going to take the other one off so that another one doesn't get injured. Yeah, so that's terrifying. One of the big things that came up when I started looking at mountain climbing was how you've got to be fast. Like, some mountains can only be climbed, like K2, which is one of the most dangerous mountains. The secret is to just be really fast, like to get to the dangerous bits at the right time so that they're slightly safer. If you're like me and you cannot go on a walk without taking a picture of every single bit of mushroom and lichen and insect that you see, I feel like mountain climbing isn't for you. It's really put me off, to be honest, because I don't want to just leg it up and leg it down again. Anyway, I'm not here to put you off climbing mountains. I'm here to tell you our Lego story show. Let's do it. I'm just going to move my computer over here because I need to show you some pictures halfway through. Here we go. You ready? I think I'll just zoom you in a tiny bit. That's it. And then flip you around. It's time for the Lego story. Here we go. Do you follow the rules? Maybe you want to be a good person. You want people to like you. You don't want to get people angry. Maybe you heard me ask that question and you're saying, I don't follow no rules. But you do. You do follow rules without even knowing it. I don't mean laws like putting your seatbelt on, not kicking people. I mean the things that we just kind of do, like stroking a cat's fur from front to back. Everyone does that, right? Putting sprinkles on top of the ice cream, not into the cone. There's no reason why. You could put sprinkles inside the cone, couldn't you, for a nice surprise, and then put the ice cream on top, but nobody does that. It's just sort of not... This is the unspoken rule. Putting tinsel on the tree from side to side. Everyone does that, don't they? No one puts tinsel on the tree from top to bottom. Oh, all right, Trafalgar Square. Some rules make sense. Other rules... they've just always been, and it's hard to tell which is which when you're in the rules. It's much easier looking back. Mary Tharp's dad was a soil surveyor. It involved being out and about and making a lot of maps, and Marie used to help and she was good at it, but it never occurred to her to do that sort of thing for a living, because that sort of job was for men. Her dad's job meant that by the time Marie went to university, she had been to about 20 different schools. She didn't have many friends and she didn't know what she wanted to do for a job. Women were not allowed to study things like maps and rocks at university. It wasn't the law, but it was a rule. So she studied music and English. And then it was 1942 and World War II started, and American men had to leave their country and fight in the war. There was no one left to study rocks at university, so the university changed the rules, and Marie was allowed to get a degree in rocks. Yay! And she started working for a man called Bruce Heezen. Not for him, he wasn't her boss, but they were working together, mapping the ocean floor. Here we are. Yay! In fact, actually, sorry, it was the rule that women weren't allowed on ships in these days. So Bruce would go on the ships. Sorry, Marie. Get back in the office, you. And he would get the depths of the oceans in all different places. So how you used to measure the sea floor was basically you would just get a weight on a rope and you would put the rope down, down, down into the sea, and then you would pull the rope up again after it hit the floor and see how much rope had gone down. And that would give you a reading. Obviously, this took absolutely ages. So we didn't have a very good idea of what the seafloor looked like for a really, really long time. Marie says in her biography, you would look at a map of Earth and it would have loads of gorgeous mountains and detail on the land, and the sea would just be this kind of pale blue coloured, like a complete mystery. And then because of the war, technology improved, and suddenly we could use like echo and signals to find out how deep the ocean was. And we had an interminable, according to Marie, the word she uses is, we had an interminable amount of numbers, and it was her job to get all these numbers from the computers and put them into a map and find out what the seafloor looked like. She absolutely loved it. She says, I had a blank canvas to fill with extraordinary possibilities, a fascinating jigsaw mapping the world's hidden seafloor. Now, Marie put all the numbers together and she noticed very quickly a line on the map. Well, I mean, this one's got a lot of lines on. The one that she noticed was this one here, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. She noticed this line and she was like, what? So she told Bruce, and he said, well, this is her words from the book that she wrote. He groaned and said, oh, it cannot be. It looks too much like continental drift. So continental drift was the idea that the ocean floor was very slowly moving apart and that lava was coming out and making new ocean floor, and that's why the continents looked like they used to fit together, because they drifted apart. At the time, it was a completely ridiculous idea and only a real foolish person would even mention it, and Bruce said that Marie's idea was girl talk and ignored her. Ugh, girls, you know, and they're constantly talking about like continental crusts and oceanic crusts and seafloor spreading. Ugh, girl talk. So annoying. Bruce preferred the hypothesis called the expanding Earth hypothesis. This is what people used to think. This was the proper serious science idea, was that Earth used to be very small and then it grew. So the plates used to fit around the Earth, and then as Earth got bigger and bigger, the continents spread apart. I mean, it just makes sense. It makes a lot more sense than your silly girl talk. Anyway, eventually, Bruce couldn't ignore the 40,000 mile long mid-oceanic ridge system that extends throughout the world's oceans. And nor could anyone else. Marie says, there's truth to the old cliche that a picture is worth 1,000 words and seeing is believing. So they sketched the details and they filled in the gaps with guesses. And here is the gorgeous map that they came up with, which blew everybody away. Marie, it turns out, actually wanted to add some mermaids and some like old pirate ships to the picture, just like the maps used to have in ye olden times, but Bruce would have none of it. I guess there was an unspoken rule that science had to be serious. Anyway, eventually someone who painted the Alp Mountains for a job got involved. And Marie says that Heinrich Behren's familiarity with painting the Alps translated beautifully to the sea floor. Look at it. Absolutely gorgeous picture. So this was a complete scientific revelation, this idea that there are mountains running under the ocean, which, as you can see, sort of perfectly map out for us where the continental crusts are. Marie says, I think our maps contributed to a revolution in geological thinking. Scientists and the general public got their first relatively realistic image of a vast part of the planet that they could never see. I worked in the background for most of my career as a scientist, but I have absolutely no resentments I thought I was lucky to have a job that was so interesting. This job was something important, something you can only do once. You can't find anything bigger, at least on this planet. Marie didn't have to break any rules to do her dream job, but rules did have to be broken. The lesson I take from her story is, don't be afraid to rock the boat. The end. Let's put her in a boat, because she did eventually, the rules did change, and Marie did get to work on ships for her job, which was mapping the ocean floor. Right, you lot, that is the end of my Lego Story Show about mountains. I forgot I had ammonites on my face. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm going to come back here now, because whenever I'm live on Facebook, whenever I'm live on YouTube, I always put a post on Whenever I'm live on YouTube, I put a post on Facebook, so that if you want to comment on the Facebook post, you can, and I will now go to the Facebook post and say hello to you. Is that all right? Did I do that right? You're on YouTube watching this. You might be on my website watching this if you're watching on Catch Up. But if you're watching live, you might have said hello to me on my Facebook page. So I'm going to Facebook now to see if you did. If you haven't got a Facebook account, or you can't access Facebook right now, don't worry about it. That's the right answer. I know that you're here because I can see the number in the corner of the screen, and I really, really appreciate you being here. So don't worry about saying hi. I say hi to you anyway. Hello you, lurking. But I'll go over and see if anyone's asked me any good questions about mountains now, or shown me any awesome pictures, or just saying hello like they like to do. What should I... Oh yeah, I should give you my ad, really. I should tell you how this is my job, because this is so weird. Like, this is literally my job. It's not my hobby. I don't even know why I started this. I started in lockdown. Yeah, I just started because everyone was in their houses and I'm trained to teach science, so I thought it'd be fun to do some science lessons. I basically just wanted likes on my Facebook page. Yeah, it wasn't anything to do with generosity. But anyway, home educators were enjoying it. I was enjoying doing it. In the end, I didn't end up going back to the classroom, because I just said, okay, if you support me with £5 a month on this website called Coffee, that'll be enough to keep me going. Like, it started out as fun and a hobby and for just Glory, but I can't feed my kids on Glory, and my husband is no longer working, so I need money, like actual cash money. But yeah, you just are supporting me. It's so weird and cool. So everything that I do is free. I don't think I could handle the admin of stuff not being free. Oh my goodness, if I had to like email people links to Zoom lessons, I literally wouldn't be able to do that. I would not be able to operate. I couldn't do it. So I just stream everything for free. IGCSE physics lesson that I teach, because I'm trained to teach physics up to A level. And this Lego Story Show and all ages lessons, 3 things a week. The lessons come with free printouts, this one doesn't. Everything's stored on my website for watching on Catch Up, and I say if you send me £5 a month, that is enough for me to be able to do that. And hopefully £5 a month isn't very much from you. So it's just working, and now is a very good time to sign up. I'm sorry, I know this advert goes on for ages, but I have to tell people that now's a good time to sign up. Because when you sign up to support me, what you're doing is you're paying me for all the lessons and the teaching and the planning, but I do send you something to say thank you. I send you some rainbow glasses that make you see rainbows, and they make you look really cool, but they also make you see rainbows. And I send you Theatre of Science magazine. I won't go on about this too much, because the regulars watching, honestly, they've heard this so many times, but I send you some past copies of Theatre of Science magazine. I write it, it doesn't come out very often, but if you sign up with £5, I'll send you 1 issue. It's got a free home compostable plastic baggie, grow some mould, there's a choose your own adventure, there's a comic, it's brilliant. Or if you sign up with £6 a month, I'll send you this Christmas tree issue. It's actually about pine trees. You don't have to celebrate Christmas. It's got some beautiful pine tree bunting. I'll send you some string. You make the bunting. The bunting's got little tiny pine tree facts. It's got a gorgeous comic about First World War One. And yeah, it's really good. But you will receive very soon a little kind of envelope of treats for me, which I'm going to go away and start packing after this. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's my ad. Please send me money so that this can be my job, because it's the best job in the world. I am in awe of you all, because if it was me, I would not yet have got round to supporting me. I'd be definitely meaning to. I'd have great intentions, but I'd just always find something else to do. I wouldn't ever actually click the link to Coffee and send me actual money. So it's a good job that we're not all like me, isn't it? It's a good job we're all different. Thanks everybody. Right, let's have a look. Poppy! Oh, Poppy! I didn't get to comment on my mermaids lesson. I had to quickly jump off and get my breakfast once it was finished. Your dad did the 3-peak challenge in 24 hours, which is climbing Scafell Pike and Snowdon and Ben Nevis. Oh, thank you, Poppy. I didn't mention Ben Nevis. So Ben Nevis is the tallest mountain in the UK. It's in Scotland. I didn't realise it used to be a volcano. It was a volcano, and then it erupted so hard it caved in on itself. Yeah, I didn't know that. So no, it's like a good mountain, but it's not like Everest proportions, but it's massive. You climbed your first proper mountain in the Cairngorm in Scotland while I was on holiday last year in May. Me and my family do a lot of hiking in the Peak District, and I've grown up being outdoors and especially climbing steep hills. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, the Peak District is my favourite national park by miles. Some parts of the Peak District, you turn a corner and it's just like you're on the moon, right? It's incredible. Campbells, which is in the Lake District, that's my husband's favourite national park. Climbed all the way. Wow, that's very impressive. That's so cool. Picture of you. Okay, I'm not going to share this picture on YouTube because you might not want me to, but I am going to look at it and enjoy it. And you on the top of Trig Point. That's so cool. Oh, I think I might have been to Trig Point. Is that in the peaks? Or is that... Oh, no, you've put... It's okay to show the photos. All right, let's have a look at Poppy on a mountain. Oh, come on! That's you and your dad. Whoa, look at that. Chumps, look at this. Look at this lake. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, you've perfectly summed up why I really, really love climbing up very big hills and very, very occasionally mountains. Look at that. Oh, that's so... Is that sand? What is that even doing there? Oh, thank you so much for showing that. Look at that massive lake. Let's look at this other one. There's Poppy's back. Poppy looking all like that last one, Brave. Like all wistful out over the... You're higher than the clouds. Oh, mountains are amazing. Oh, it didn't say one of the other most dangerous mountains when I looked it up was people saying that Mount Washington in America, Leo made the oil float. Yeah, it should have floated. Leo's correct. Well done, Leo. That's right. How did this happen? Because the oil is made of different materials, just like Earth's crust is made from different materials to the mantle. That is nice looking oil. That's very bright. Okay, anyway, sorry. I've got to focus, Jancy, you've got foxes in your garden sometimes. The other night we saw it jump onto our 6-foot fence and then walk along it like a cat. Do you know... I'm sorry, I'm getting so into the chat and there must be so many people waiting to say hello. Right, when I lived in South London, that's not how this being said. When I lived in South London, right, we had a fence in our backyard that was like, yeah, you know, like a wooden fence. So like fence poles with little gaps in between them and then bits of wood running along the other way. You know, like a fence, like a white picket fence, but it wasn't white. And we heard, in like really late in the evening, this awful like screeching noise, and we went out into our garden, and I don't know what the odds are of this happening, but a fox had tried to jump over our fence. Oh, I shouldn't tell you, it ends well. But a fox had jumped over the fence and then got stuck, and its body was on one side and its tail was on the other side. Can you imagine the stress? Anyway, one of my housemates put on some gloves and went out. This was not a happy fox and it did not want to be near people. But my housemate managed to like scoop it off and it sort of scratched him and ran off. Everyone was fine in the end. Man alive though, it was really stressful. It's just so, yeah, I'm glad that your fox made it onto your fence. Alma says she loved the Lego story. Oh, thanks Alma. Am I getting a picture of your oily jar as well? Oh, that's me in the background. Oh, look guys. And you've made your... Oh, because you did a blue one. Oh, that's good. Look. It actually looks like the ocean. And there's me. I'm still there now. Wearing that. Hey, that's weird, isn't it? Oh, that weirds me out a little bit. Let's have a look at these other pictures. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's really nice. That's Leo's. I like that. I'm very pleased with those colours. Anyway, okay. Right, I'm sorry. I'm getting really distracted. It's not my fault. It's you lot for being interested. There'll be other people waiting around for ages. Oh, there you go. Humphrey. Is it Sebastian? I didn't know about the roots thing. Thank you. No, me neither. When I was younger, me and Mummy did a fold mountain activity with towels. Really? I should know about that. A fold mountain activity with towels, where you get like 2 towels and you... Okay, I need to look that up. All right, Jacob. Hello, Jacob. Hello, Zoe and Mum. Hello, Forest. No, it's Forest. Oh my goodness. Oh, there's Alice. I'm getting too loud. I'm getting loud again. Come on, Laura. Okay, Forest is here for the first time, which is extremely exciting. Forest, I get so excited when new people come. That's so cool. Oh, that's not. Oh, look, Willow and everyone's saying hello. You'll love it here. And Alice is saying welcome to the Science Lines. Yeah, Forrest. To be honest, none of this was my idea. Someone, and I should know who it was, and I can't remember, started calling the people who watch this the Science Alliance. So now you're in the Science Alliance. Welcome. All right, Rose and Coral. Rose and Coral, hello. Hi. Trying not to be too excited. Hello, Seren. I am hoping to find out why mountains have snow on. Oh, very good point. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's a great point. Yeah, do you know what? When I was showing the Snowy Mountain, I thought, I should have looked that up. Why do mountains have snow on? Why are mountains colder? Why is it colder the further up you go? Oh, it's probably because you think of the heat on Earth as coming from the sun. I mean, which it does. But what actually happens is the sun shines on Earth and heats it up. And it's actually the land emitting heat, which is sort of what makes us warm. It's not sunlight shining on us. It's heat from the sun getting absorbed by Earth and then getting given off. So I'm guessing it's because you're further away from Earth, which is radiating heat. But is it because the mountain was absorbed? Well, what is it? Why are mountains colder on the top? Guys, come on, why? Why are mountains colder on the top? So I'm thinking like there's less gravity on mountains. There's less air on top of mountains. The atmosphere is thinner. Like if you were to look at the air around Earth, there's loads of air near the surface of Earth, and then less and less and less air the further you get, which is why if people climb mountains, they often have to take air with them. Why is it cold on mountains? Yeah, I'm like, mountains are cold. Ugh. Go away, AI overview, and your, here's all the information, but it might be wrong. So don't give me the information. Just go into a website. Oh, okay, cool. So here's Forbes, which are very reliable. They're so reliable, I might not be able to read them. Oh yeah, here we go. They're saying, yeah, if heat rises, why is it cold at the top of a mountain? That is a great question, because heat does rise. If you heat up air, air goes up. Heat does rise. But that's not the only factor. Earth radiates heat into space. Yeah. Down near sea level, heat from the sun hits the ground and is trapped under the air. Okay, so the air and clouds stop the heat escaping. Okay, right. So you go further up, there's less atmosphere, so the heat gets lost more easily. Okay, that makes sense. That actually fits in really nicely with the lesson that we literally just did earlier today on mermaids and stuff and how things keep warm. So basically air, oh my goodness, we even learned that it's hard to heat up air. Air is like an insulator. So air is like a blanket, basically, trapping the heat from Earth. And up on top of mountains, there's less air, so the heat escapes more easily. Right. Cool. Very good question. Right, let's move on. Oh, hello, Amelia. You coloured in your pictures of the Kelpie and the mermaid. I love it. Seren, why do goats like mountains? That's a good point. That's a great point. Well, they've evolved to live on mountains, like to be able to live on them. Yeah, we didn't talk about any animals on mountains, did we? Hello, Ellen. Missed the first lesson. We'll have to watch a replay. Hello. Hi. You don't have to watch it on replay. You can if you want. Pretend that I'm saying hi. Just pretend that I start every sentence with, hey, Ellen. Like that. If you've got an adult who's good with technology, you could just cut that, hey, Ellen, and then put it in throughout the mermaid's lesson and then really like personalise it. Dan's watching. I don't know why that's made me smile. Dan doesn't say hi. Dan's not saying hello, but they are watching. Okay? Haven't said that I'm enjoying it, but I'm here. Dan? I'm not going to say hi because Dan hasn't said hi, but Dan is here. He's with us. All right, Tiger and Bird, tomorrow in the future. Tiger and Bird, tomorrow in the future. Yeah, but so this is your past. Hello from the past, right? Tiger and Bird, you're probably not watching this. You probably haven't sat through all of that, have you? To get to your hello? I say hello to you like 3 times a day. But anyway, hello. And Banjo too. Hiya. All right, Alice. Looking forward to the costume reveal. I'm a bit disappointed, Alice, because I couldn't find this hat, which is what I used for yesterday's lesson. And then it was only when I sat down with my little hairband on that I looked down and realised it was right next to me. This is much better, isn't it? Thank you for reminding me. That's much better. Yeah. I'm warmer, I'm cozier, it's a better silhouette. I'm gonna have to do the whole thing again. Oh, Alice, you do throw me some spanners. Mountain climber would have been a good one, actually. Yeah, will it be mountain or mountain climber? You can tell Alice has been coming for quite some time. All right, Imogen and Ophelia, we have been telling people about the fact that mountains have roots. I know, when I drew it, I got really excited, didn't I? And I went like, oh, mountains have roots. They don't. It's not like that. As far as I know. I mean, I don't know. You tell me. You go study mountains more. Hello, Thomas and Isabel. All right, Maya, can you do a lesson on Christmas plants? Now, that's a nice one. Okay, so we've done a lesson on ivy, like a Lego story show. We've done a Lego story show on ivy, and we've done one on Christmas trees, but we haven't done one on just evergreens. We have done a Christmas tree one before. It is a really good one. I really like that one. Like just pine trees. Christmas plants. Yeah, that is really nice actually. And next week, so we've got 2 Lego story shows left before I take a break for the Christmas holidays. So next week I said we'd do European robins versus American robins because you've been asking me about that for ages. Yeah, let's do Christmas plants as the other one. That's lovely. My mum-in-law even got me a Christmas cactus. I mean, maybe not me, the kids. Anyway, there's a Christmas cactus in our house now because of my amazing mum-in-law. So I can even show you that. Oh, I think it might even be a grafting situation, which we've talked about in the lessons that we're doing about mythical creatures. Oh, it's all come together. You're a genius. Right, let's finish before the Christmas holidays with Christmas plants. Thank you, Maya. And their meaning. What, like the holly and the ivy? Because one of them is a king and one's a queen. Or something. Anyway, more of that next week. Hello, Casper and Iris, who aren't related but are always watching together. Sorry, that was too much personal information, wasn't it, for everyone? All right, Lana and Finley, we were decorating the Christmas tree and listening to Christmas music, but we couldn't miss this lesson. No, that's so sweet of you. Even I might have missed this lesson in order to, like, I might have just not taught the lesson. Do you know how many boxes of Christmas decorations I've got downstairs? And nothing has been done with them. I told myself that I need to pack up your little, like, sort of Christmas gifty, your little tiny little envelopes with some nice tiny little things in, before I need to send those to my supporters before I decorate my house, but I think I have to do both at the same time. We are actually half Swiss. Are you kidding me? Lana and Finley, have I been wasting the opportunity to do a Swiss accent all this time? I don't know what the Swiss accent is. I literally do not have a clue. We are actually half Swiss, and in September we went on holiday to the Alps in Switzerland. It was so beautiful, and yet I hardly know anything about mountains. Yay! Yeah, the Alps in Switzerland. Now, that's a weird one, isn't it? Because if we look back at this map, where is Switzerland? Oh, guys, if I show you this map, this is a brave thing to do, isn't it? Just riffing that I know where Switzerland is. If I show you this map, do you know where Switzerland is? And can you tell me if it's on a line between some, on like a fault line, a line between some plates, tectonic plates? Okay, so Switzerland is in Europe, which is over here. So look, so we don't have a lot of earthquakes and volcanoes in Eurasia, do we? In Europe, compared to some other places. And that's because, look, pretty much all of Europe is on the same plate. But you can get mountains in the middle of plates. And we think it might be because of this thing where bits underneath the crust are broken off and therefore the crust has got lighter and kind of bulged up. So Switzerland is... She says like she's going to reveal it. All right, there's Italy, and that's a bit above it, like there, isn't it? So it's just on a plate. I don't know how the Alps formed. No, I got them mixed up with the Andes because they both begin with A. The Andes are over here. It's quite easy to see how the Andes formed. How did the Alps form? I don't know. Should we find out? I feel bad that you've learned 0 about the Alps. Literally 0. I did mention them, didn't I? Because I mentioned that they were... Oh, it's Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc is in the Alps, isn't it? The Alps. How did the Alps form? How did the... like, you could Google this yourselves. But I'm going to do it anyway. How did the Alps form? Oh, what? Okay, again, that's AI. The geology, the collision of the African and Eurasian tectonic plates. What? Okay, we need to go back to our diagram. The Alps formed Okay, it was a really long time ago. It was about 66 million years ago. Oh, yeah, I did learn about this. About 66 million years ago, so about when the dinosaurs were going extinct, the African and Eurasian tectonic plates mashed together. This isn't what Wikipedia is saying. Here? And the Alpine Tethys, which was a bit of crust, just disappeared. What? Okay, let's go back to this map. Here we are. Oh, right. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so the Alps were formed by the African plate and the Eurasian plate scrunching up together. But things are slightly different now because time's moved on because it was 66 million years ago. Okay, interesting. Oh, right, so, oh yeah, of course, look, because that's ocean, isn't it? So they've sort of moved, okay, sweet. Well, I didn't know that. Sorry it took me this long to learn about the Alps, but I know about them now. Right, let's click that away. Cool, this is a very dense chat. You guys are bringing a lot to this conversation. Behold the Lara Mountain. Howdy, Alice. Eve says hi, and why did it need to be warm water? I know, because the internet told me. I've only ever done it with cold water, and it hasn't worked that well. I guess in the warm water particles are moving around more, so they like maybe bash the, then cold water, warm water particles are vibrating more than cold water particles. So the warm water particles maybe like bash the food colouring around a bit more, and they're supposed to make better little explosions. I guess that's why. That map of the ocean mountains is so cool. Seren's mummy is on a work call but can see the TV. I can't wait to catch up on this lesson. Oh, wait, I'm confused. Is this you typing? Are you typing onto Facebook while you're on a work call? What? Anyway, Seren, hello. Tell your mum, get back to work. And also, hello, and thanks so much for joining it. Marketing, Nonsense and Maths is a great name for an advertising agency. It is. If I had an advertising agency, that is what it would be called. Theatre of Marketing, Nonsense and Maths and Science. Okay, I think that's it. We feel like we've been here for a while, haven't we? So I will go. I will say thank you so much for supporting me with money so that you can get your little Christmas pack and your magazine and your rainbow glasses and all of the nice things that I will send you if you sign up. I'm just quickly refreshing because there might be people that I haven't said hello to. Oh, hello. Here's you on Thorpe Cloud. What? This is you actually sitting on a cloud. That's ridiculous. How does that even work? Let's have a look. Is that you, Eve? Oh no, it's not Eve. Who's that? I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to show this picture of you sitting on Thorpe Cloud. Thank you. Here is us near the top of Mount, is that Teide, an active volcano in Tenerife 2 months ago. What? We even felt the heat from the fumarole. We couldn't hold our hands over it for more than a few seconds. Oh, okay, so this has just become show off our awesome adventures time. I'm here for that. Oh my goodness, what? You put your hand over a hole where hot air was coming out of a volcano. Yeah, I'm not surprised you could. Don't do that, children. If you're watching at home, don't do that. Unless it is safe to do so. Great Lego story today. Oh, thanks. We've just been to the Peak District, says Francis. Very different to the flatland we're used to in East Anglia. Oh yeah, I bet. But East Anglia, you've got all those awesome like reeds and the wet stuff. It's so wet. I love it. Francis says, can we have a Lego show on owls? Particularly barn owls. We have done owls, but I've got a sort of slightly guilty feeling when I say it. Like, yeah, I could have done better. And also, we can always redo stuff. Yeah, I'll put it on the list. I'll put it on the list above bats. That makes sense. And below beavers. All right, Maya. Oh, yeah, the amazing Christmas tree plant suggestion. Yes, Christmas plants. Good. Okay. I think that's everyone. Now we just get to go and look at everyone's lovely pictures. There's Ellen. There's Alice. There's Jancy, J Daisy, and Daniel. Oh, yeah, with the fox story that really sent me off on one side. There's Poppy's incredible pictures. Zoe! Zoe's here. All right, Zoe. Hello. And there's Jacob, and Coral, and Forrest, and people saying hello. It's very nice. Okay, right. Oh, here we go. Yeah. That's nice. So this is you sitting on a cloud, a muddy cloud. That's nice, isn't it? That is such a nice photo. I love that. I love the colours in that. I feel like if an alien said to me, can you send me a photo that sums up humans, I'd send them that. That's really nice. It's a good advert for humans, is that? Oh, lovely. Look at that. There's a lot going on there, isn't there? That's a lot. That's just everything. The rocks. Anyway, okay. That is very nice. Thank you for showing me that. Oh, that's you again. Wait, how did I do that? Oh, here we go. Is that Thomas and Isabel? Wow. Okay. The mountains can look very different, can't they? Do you want to see the picture of them doing something that we should never do? There's this hot, like, planet farts coming out of there, and you couldn't do that for more than a few seconds. That does sound fun. And finally, yes, it's Aurelia's Kelpie and Aurelia's Mermaid. Wow. I love that when you shared that with me a couple of hours ago, it was black and white, and now it's gorgeously filled in. That's amazing. I love how you sometimes draw on the computer and you sometimes draw on paper as well. It's really cool. Oh, and I love, that Kelpie looked like with seaweed for hair. That is really stunning, Amelia. I love seeing your drawings. Okay, you lot. I'm going to go. Thank you so much for joining me and for just hanging out with me. Man, this is the best job ever. Oh, okay. I'm going to go downstairs, put a podcast on, put the Silly History Boys on, which is my favourite podcast, also the only one that I listen to. But it would still be my favourite, Silly History Boys, even if I listen to loads. And I'll see you next week for American Robins versus European Robins. I'll see you soon.